All right, may the words of my mouth and the meditation of mine heart be acceptable in Yahweh's sight. He is our strength and our redeemer, and it is in his name, which is his authority, that we pray, praise, proclaim, project, and protect today's message. Aman. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being on. Hola, mi nombre es Kofi. ¿Cómo está? Bonjour, je m'appelle Kofi. Ça va? Ni hao, namaste. Osaya anakitawaya, Ohio. I see you. Manut, Habarigani, Akwa Aba, Etesen. Jambo, Mimi ni Kofi, Nina Fra Kukatan and the Wewe. Bakwata, Shabbat Shalom, Shalom, Allah Sham Yahava, Barak Allah Sham Yahava. Tada Yasta, Kwam Yasta, Anai Kofi, Kwahelet, servants of Christ, Mashalom Hey. Hello, everybody. I'm Pastor Kofi, Pastor Servants of Christ, where we are always changing lives one mind at a time and be the voice of the voiceless and speaking the unspoken. And we're grateful, thankful, appreciative for everybody who's spending some time with us today. We know that you could do many different things, be in many different places right now. You were called to be many different things and shed light upon many different groups and many different things. But the fact that you would spend some time with us, it means a lot to us, and we appreciate you. And we give all honor and praise once again to Yahweh Elohim. We give all praise and honor to him for my wife, the Honorable Maya, who lives a life that's able to be honored. You can check her out on TikTok, YouTube, her website, and Pinterest at Bloom and Flourish, not A-N-D, the letter N, Bloom and Flourish. She is a healer, herbalist, chemist, and biologist by degree. And we're thankful and grateful to everybody for being on today with us. And we appreciative shout out to Brother Jermaine once again for making the fly gear, the merch, as my son would say. And we appreciate him doing the great work, and all of the people who have different businesses, different things that are going on. Thank you for supporting one another, and we appreciate you. All right, so we're going to get right into this. We got to get ready for our Shabbat Shalom service at 10 a.m. Eastern New York time on the podcast, and then right after that, and that'll be a word given by ministers Sharon and Joseph at the same time, simultaneously. Praise God for them again. And then we'll be looking into at 11 a.m. Eastern New York time, those who are coming and ready for the Shabbat school, for those who are doing homeschooling, come on in. It will have something for you guys at that time if you want to check it out. It's going to be kind of our first official one. We did an unofficial one kind of sort of last weekend. So if you want to join us for that, feel free to do so. And we have an actual specific link just for that. So I'll try to make sure that I send that out at some point. But if you want to make sure that your child can be on there with us, then feel free to make sure that you simply ask for the link if you don't already have it. Aman. But yeah, we're thankful and grateful to all of you guys for being on today. And we appreciate you. Let's say hello to everybody, and then let's jump in real quick so we continue this series on This System is Sus. This system is suspect. This beast is suspect. And we're going to keep calling this beast out and the whore that rides upon her, the whore of Babylon, by the way, before somebody gets in there. Once again, if you like the link, feel free to kind of reach out to us and text us or email us. I can't really put the link on TikTok or whatever right now, but you can reach out to us if you don't want to look at the link tree that's on our main page. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, the information to get in contact with us is in the description as always. If you're on TikTok, if it's your first time being with us, you can go ahead and make sure that you just simply click on our main TikTok page, click on the link tree. That link tree there will give information on how you can reach out and contact us about a plethora of things, texting or emailing us, letting us know, and we can give you that link right back. I will put up, just for a hot second before we get started, I'll go ahead and put up the link. Or not the link, but I'll put up our number and email if you want to take a screenshot of it real quick. I still got to set up the podcast. So if you want to do that while I'm setting up the podcast, I'll let that sit there for a hot second. But then after that, we got to move because I don't have as much time as I normally do. And we have a lot of excellent things to be able to share with you today. So if you'd like to be able to contact us, you can feel free to do so. If you're on TikTok, there it is. While I'm setting up. Oh, actually, I guess I'm already set up. All right. Okay. So if you weren't able to set it up, I apologize, but that's the way you can go ahead and get that in there. So we're going to go ahead and get this started. Thank you to everybody once again joining us on the podcast, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. We appreciate you so very much, and thanks for being with us again. Let's go ahead and say hello to everybody. How you doing, Sister Beverly? How you doing, Sister Dawn? How are we doing, Stephen, Javon, Sister Nadine, Sister Denise? Thanks for listening in. Everybody on TikTok, forgive me, I'm getting there. Real Sergo, Sister Akita, Sister Monica, Kia, Romac, Big Brother Thomas, Brother Jerron, Robin Barker, Sister Nadine, if I didn't say so already. Hey, how's everybody doing? Old head energy. Hey, how you doing, Sage? Sister Deja, everybody, we appreciate you so very much. Come on in, come on in. How you doing, Jay? Come on in, Brother Alton, Dion, Sister Deborah, Sister Betty, everybody. God's body. Um, uh-oh, I think I missed somebody. Sister Deja, if I think I said it already. How you doing, MIT Tama? Sister Sherry, alrighty. Okay, and Iska. And if I miss anybody's name, charge it to my head and not to my heart. We appreciate everybody for being on today. So today, I'm talking about the system is sus. We're talking about this beast. We're talking about this wicked system. We're talking about the corporation. We're talking about corporations that move corporately. And a lot of people think, they tune out or they start thinking, up here comes a conspiracy theorist and stuff like that. Which, by the way, I don't even know why that's a bad word to use or a bad term to use for oneself. If somebody told you about gravity, gravity is a theory that's been disproven, but you still use it. If somebody were talking about the theory of there's a theory of race. That's why you think there's a such thing as a human race. Races is supposed to be a competition of animals, and Charles Darwin took what Carl Linnaeus said and said, hey, races, and he expanded upon it. He basically said, hey, races of animals gave birth to races of human beings, and so the best human beings are at top are the white ones that came from certain animals, and the lowest human beings are the black ones that come from certain ones, and then in between he made a list, right? So you're living in a hyper theoretical world at all times. So it's very interesting that people don't subscribe to conspiracy theories when you live by theories, right? Even the theory of gravity was displaced by the theory of relativity. The theory of relativity has since been disproven as well, right? How you doing? Was it Orlando? Okay, um, Alabama in the house. How you doing? So it's really odd that people don't even recognize what theories are. And technically, if something's going to be a theory by law, it has to be something that's based off of law. So if it's not based off of natural law, it can't be theoretical anyways, right? But let's go ahead and get into this, right? It's what some would call a conspiracy theory, but I think if you hang in there long enough, those of you who've been with us long enough, you already know what's up. But if you haven't been with us before, listen in just a little bit, and I promise you that you'll probably get a little something out of it. Praise Yah. We're thankful and grateful for the Most High being able to give us the opportunity to be able to speak to you today. So this is how these theories work, right? They're already messing with our signal a little bit, but we're gonna make this work. Praise yeah. So this is how a lot of these theories work, or this is how this particular thing that they're gonna call a conspiracy theory works. You are living in something as we've discussed before called a system, right? The world, even in the word world, even in your canon, for those who believe in the canon of the Bible, the word world refers to cosmos. It's coming from cosmos with a K, which basically means a system. Cosmos with a C means the terra firma, the actual physical dirt, the earth, etc. But you live not just in the cosmos with a C, the dirt, but you live in the cosmos with a K, a system. And what you don't recognize is that the system, therefore, has to have marks. It has to have numbers. It has to have certain indicators. It has to have certain patterns. If it doesn't have certain patterns, indicators, things like that, then it's not systemic. It cannot be systematically put in place, and it cannot be systemically enhanced or systemically driven. If you don't comprehend what I'm saying, systematically means somebody wrote this out on purpose. Systemically means that it's designed to be able to flow without you having to do anything, right? like, like the system, for example, the system of racism. Yes, somebody put that in place, right? But it's designed to run without you doing anything. See the Willie Lynch letter, right? um, the system of curses that are on your life. Somebody put those things strategically in place, or you might have done things knowing that things would happen that would cause generational curses. But if you're not careful, you don't even have to do anything but just simply keep living the way your ancestors did and keep getting the same curses or generational blessings. You don't have to do much of anything if you start putting blessings in place and just teach people and show people how to do what you're already doing. The blessings keep flowing. How you doing, Brother Jermaine? And thanks for being part of Community Showtime. How you doing, Sister Tracy? How you doing, Mies? Right? So there's a lot of stuff that we're fooling around with and messing around with that really we don't have to worry about. We shouldn't worry about. We shouldn't wonder about. We shouldn't think twice about. Right? We because there should be some things that are in place. Well, the same thing with money. And today, in our series, we're talking about this system is sus. Today, and we're going to focus on money ain't real. And I've talked about this before, but we're gonna go a little deeper in, or maybe give you a little bit more information. How you doing, Loretta? Thanks for being part of the community. So money ain't real. Money is not real. Money isn't real. Money shall not be considered to be a reality, right? Because money is something called currency. Money is considered to be currency. Now we have to define currency, and I'm gonna try and hit as many questions, comments, concerns as I can, but I don't have much time, and we got a lot of information, so I'm gonna do the best that I can to get all this stuff in, right? But but money really is not something you should try to worry about obtaining in the manner that you do, because money ain't real. Watch this: the wealthiest people on earth don't even deal with money. They deal with other people's money, and they try their best to not even save up money. They try to have it flow. It's called a currency. And Shabbat Shalom to everybody once again. How you doing, Bakwatav? Shabbat Shalom, Achet, uh, Shante, Rabbi Shante, right? Uh, so money's not real. How you doing, Black Steel? Money's not a real thing, but everybody's trying really hard to obtain that which is not real. Everybody's dealing in all this stuff and all these false equivalencies to try and make sure that they can produce something and have something that's not real. How you doing, Sister Kimberly? The problem is that you're run by a system that's artificial. Now, once again, this system is not even you think you're in a country. Most people listening in the United States, but for the most part, no matter what country you're listening to me in, you're in something called a corporation. You're not in a country. United States, right? According to law, we've shown that law over and over again. We discussed that law over and over again. 28 USC 300215A tells you specifically that the United States is not a corporation. The B section right behind it says that it not only is not a corporation, but sometimes it can be thought of as a board. That's why you have a president of a board, right? And then C section tells you specifically that you're dealing with with something that is an instrument or instrumentalized, right? In other words, a negotiable instrument. Money is a negotiable instrument. You negotiate with something, but problem is that the money is not real. It's supposed to represent a system that's not a real country, number one, right? And number two, there's no gold or silver to back it up, because by law, money can't be real unless what? There's gold or silver to back it up. How you doing, MIT Samila Ray? How you doing, Minister Tamara? So money's not real, right? But we've tried really hard to keep it. Like, you don't need money to survive. You need currency to survive, and money can flow to get you what is real. Right now, some people, I know I'm gonna lose people. I know there's gonna be some people who are not gonna listen today, because this is a tough subject for people to ascertain, especially if you've never really heard anybody discuss it. Right, Romans chapter 10 verses 13 through 16. Anybody who calls upon the name of the Lord, they shall be saved. But how can you be saved if you don't believe it? And can you believe it if you haven't heard it? And how can you hear it if nobody's preaching it or proclaiming it? And how can one proclaim it if they're not sent by the Most High to show you how the system actually works? For how beautiful are the feet of those that walk in this way, proclaiming this word. Therefore, verse 16, who shall believe our report? You know the report of the false, fake master of the corporation, but you don't know the report of those who are actually kingdom minded. You said if gold and silver backs it up, how can Africa therefore become and show that they are rich? Africa makes sure that they have their own money. Matter of fact, we're going to get into that today. But Africa has money that's not American money, and Africa has the right to be able to trade within Africa. They don't have to trade with any of these other countries. Part of the problem that Africa has is that Africa has become a graveyard. This is something, by the way, that somebody that many people would consider to be your enemy, Vladimir Putin, has said. Right? He came out and said that Africa is a graveyard. Your enemy studies you. How you doing, Rissa? Your enemy studies you. So let me tell you something that your enemy who studied you came out with. He said Africa is a graveyard. He said that the African who has wealth, he leaves Africa. He sends his son, right? He said his education is in Europe, because that's where he sends his children to get educated. He said his businesses are in America, because that's where he sends them to get there. He said his help, his aid comes from Russia and China, because that's where they ask for help, right? But he said, but when he dies, he always comes back and asks to be buried in the very place that he would never live in. Africa has become a graveyard, but we have our own stuff. See, this is why they dismantled Kwame Nkrumah when Ghana found freedom, so to speak. Right? This is why it was not PFO, excuse me. This is why you had to kill Lumumba. because Lumumba wasn't apologetic for telling y'all that what Belgium and the CIA did was trash. This is why you have to deny. I'm not trying to say that he was perfect, but this is why you got to jack up Gaddafi, right? Who was not only making currency for his country, but he was making currency that all of Africa was going to share, that was going to be backed up by gold and also certain precious metals that they only had in Africa, that therefore nobody else could have. And if you were going to do business with Africa, you were going to have to pay Africa in gold. That was going to change the way that people did business. He had to die. This is why Sankara has to be killed. When he starts saying, well, who cares if they block us off and they don't want it, nobody wants us to do business with them. Like, do we need other people to feed ourselves? Do we need other people to build a hospital? Do we need other people to have weapons? Why are we looking to everybody else for that when we have the ability to do these things for ourselves? You said Gaddafi was a tyrant, dude. Yeah, you literally didn't listen to what I said. He's not perfect, right? By the way, was George Washington a tyrant? Let's go by these definitions of tyrant. If Gaddafi's a tyrant because of what he did to his people, because that's what we're going to do. We're going to ignore that if you got married, he makes sure that he gave you a place to stay for free and he makes sure you had a stipend. We're going to ignore the fact that they didn't have a problem with alcohol, this and that. So, okay, let's use the same thought process. Let's not make it about race. Let's just make it about what it is. Let's make it about thought process. If Gaddafi's a tyrant, what is George Washington? If Gaddafi's a tyrant, what is Thomas Jefferson? I skipped the second president for a reason. If Gaddafi's a tyrant, what is Madison? If Gaddafi's a tyrant, what is Monroe? By the way, those what you would call first 4 out of 5 presidents, because George Washington is not actually your first president, but those 4 out of 5 presidents, all Virginia slave owners. It was Virginia slave owners that in 1789, 1791 began to have power. And by the way, John Madison and John Madison's son, who became the 6th president, they worked for Virginia slave owners. The 7th president, Andrew Jackson, he would be somebody who would be a Tennessee slave owner, but would go to Virginia to get his education. Virginia was running stuff. Don't forget about Polk. Don't forget later on, 15th president going to deal with Taylor. They was running this country. They're called a commonwealth. They were still part of a kingdom that they told you that they are separated from, that they still pay taxes to this day. Who's the tyrant? All right. So if we're going to use it, let's use it. I would say Gaddafi didn't go to the level of enslaving the folk. Now, Gaddafi's not perfect. Gaddafi, even though he made sure that he had all women be the people that protected him, Gaddafi also was somebody that, according to what standards that people call stuff in the U.S., y'all would call him, a patriarch. And I wouldn't disagree according to your definition. Now, in my culture, a patriarch is different. My patriarchs hit different than yours. You know, how we treat our mothers and our wives and our women. Even when we use the term woman in our culture, we mean a term of endearment. You hear somebody say woman in your culture, that you talking down to them. In our culture, if we say woman, we actually have to put them on a pedestal before we can call them that. Right? So I'm just saying if we're going to use those terms, right? But see, this is what I'm saying. Money isn't real, and it comes from a system that's not real. Once again, you're dealing with a corporation. A corporation is not a country. So if there's a corporation calling itself the United States, having you pay taxes, that is not something you have to do, but it's something that is a choice. You have the choice to pay tax. Now, still, you better study up. You better know how law works. People don't want to know how law works. They just want to go ahead and say, I'm not going to pay taxes. Well, you better know what you can and can't use to make sure. You better know what Supreme Court decisions are out there. You better know how to use Google Scholar, right? This is for educational purposes only. Those who want to be educated, that means I'm simply looking inside you. I'm pulling out what's in you. I'm showing you, right? I'm pulling out what's in you. I'm showing you the potential that you have. I'm gonna place it back in you. I'm saying, if you want to walk this walk, let's walk it together. But it's on you, right? It's your decision. It's on you. You don't have to participate. You don't have to learn. You don't have to grow. You don't have to study. You don't have to research. You can keep making the same decision to be part of the same system all day, every day, or you can start to make decisions to pull yourself out of it. It's up to you, right? This is a faith walk, faith based upon hopes, and that hope turning into faith as we walk in faith is now going to start giving us manifestation. It might take you a little bit, but it's time to come out. Yeah, exactly. Kwam Yashla, right? Time to rise. It's up to you. How you doing, Slandra? Right? Thanks you for the love. It's up to you. Choose ye this day. It's up to you. Okay, so Money ain't real. People say, how's Africa going to come up? Africa's do it. Matter of fact, Africa has a currency that they've been had out. If you're paying attention to the news, I think it's been out since 2021, 2020, 2021, where there's currency that is there for Africa to be able to use to be able to trade within each other. And what happened is now European and Asian and Russia, wherever you want to put them in that, because Russia technically is all over the place, right? But Eurocentric values and Asiatic values and Middle Eastern values and Indian values now have stepped into where they're doing the same thing with Africa, right? That they do with the diaspora all over the world, which is, hey, do you really want to trust each other? Do you really want to have faith in each other? Why not have faith in us? I mean, we're already established. We've been established. We think that we have to trade with these people, right? You can trade with yourself. You can support your own businesses. Why do you have to always support somebody else's business? Where's your business? Where are your businesses that you support? Do you feel you have a right to support your own businesses? See, this is the stuff that's in there, right? But money ain't real, right? So here's some simple ways that I can just show you and discuss with you that money ain't real, because people don't believe you, right? There's something called cryptocurrency, correct? So when it comes to cryptocurrency, and thank you once again, everybody who's on the podcast, on Facebook, on YouTube, on TikTok. We appreciate your presence. Thank you so much. Thank you for the love and how you doing, boss, right? So a lot of people know about cryptocurrency, and you say cryptocurrency is something that you do on your device. It's not real. I can't hold it. It's not fiat cash. Therefore, it's not real. Problem with this is, though, is that you've had electronic currency for years. Way before there was cryptocurrency, you've had electronic currency. Matter of fact, you use something to this day, right? I'm not going to show you a real one because I don't want y'all to have all my information out here. Actually, let me see. Yeah, I don't want y'all to have all my. Well, I'll block my information on this one, right? But you carry, right? You carry stuff. You carry stuff that ain't got no, right? This is fake. This is electronic. There's no fiat cash in my hand. There's nothing in my hand, correct? Right? It's got my name on it. Right? This has my actual name on it, by the way. It doesn't have my all caps name. Right? It's got my name and everything on it. Right? It's Visa and everything. But this is not real. This is not real. Right? It's currency, but it doesn't have to be real currency. How you doing, Sister Shima? You see that? Y'all talking about electronic currency as if Bitcoin and other altcoin, right, and altcoin and stuff like that is wrong, but this ain't real. This ain't real, right? And even when they put your name in all caps on there, on your checks and all that stuff, that's not real because that's not really you. That's a straw man. And I've taught this before. If you learn what a straw man is, you'll learn that basically everything that you're dealing with is either a real person or a straw man. And if you become a real person and get with a bunch of real persons, natural persons, you can make a natural community. They call that a people, because a people is a nation. So when it says we the people of the United States, you think, see, because you think you are a people of the United States, you think that you spend money as a people, but you spend money as a person, or you spend money for a person. It's called a corporation. A corporation is a person. A person can be a corporation. So if you're a corporation, if you are incorporated, then you are an artificial person. If you are an artificial person, this is why people get LLCs and trusts. This is why I mess with them a little bit, but I don't really mess with them like that, because I'm not trying to have too much of me be fake. Now I get why people do it. They're like, well, this fake person, if something happens, the government's gonna come after the fake person, and I'm not attached to the fake person. So they're maneuvering it. They got the context and concept enough to where they can protect themselves, right? But you want as much stuff to be real as possible if you can. I'm not trying to belittle the LLC. I'm not trying to belittle the trust. I'm not trying to belittle all the different things or whatever. I'm just telling you, a lot of the stuff that you're doing is corporative, and we don't comprehend the difference. Money ain't real. Money belongs to a corporation, and the corporation cannot even print its own money. How you doing, Marley? You said anything could be used as a form of currency. Yeah. hmm Yeah, exactly. Right. Because currency just means we agree. That's all currency is. Look up the definition of currency when you're at a time. Part of the definition will tell you that in order for something to be currency, we just simply have to agree that it can be spent. If we disagreed with the currency that exists today, it couldn't be currency. If we disagreed with the dollar, it couldn't be currency. And this is why people are afraid of what's coming. Right? It's not currency. See, even the currency, it has to be backed by something. It's supposed to be a negotiable instrument. It's supposed to be an instrument, supposed to be something that's used to say that something else is coming. See, technically, if your money was real, you should be able to go to the bank and not just ask for your money, because y'all can't even do that. If you got $50,000 in your savings account right now, go to your bank, ask them for 50,000 and see what they tell you, because they don't even have it. Because the bank doesn't have to have what they say they have. See, so y'all already missed it. We be talking about they printing up money. Like, you don't recognize, like, if I were to start my own bank, and at some point I'm going to, right? If I the day I start my own bank, technically, I'm not going to treat people like this, but technically, all I have to do is have 9% of what it is that I say, especially if I'm giving somebody a loan. So if somebody comes to me for a loan, they want a loan for $100,000. All I have to do is have $9,000 in the bank in order to say that I can give them a loan. And there's a lot of legal terminology and stuff out there that will allow me to still do stuff different. You said, how am I going to wake you up and I'm still in Babylon? No, what makes you think that I'm in Babylon? What makes you think that I'm in the system that you're in? What makes you think I got to worry about stuff like a 9 to 5, taxes, what your concern is about if I'm in Babylon or not? I'm just saying, you made an assumption about me, right? You don't know me. I'll know you. For those that this is something that's valuable for, let's go ahead and glean from this. If this ain't something that's valuable to you, you think that I'm a fraud, then you have every right to not listen at all. I just don't understand why you become on and somebody has something to be able to teach you about something, and you talking about Babylon. I don't live by the mark. I just showed you my name on there. That's my name. I don't do the all cap stuff that y'all be doing. I don't put a social security number down to get something. Matter of fact, I know that it's against the law to use my social security number to be able to ask me to identify myself. But you don't know that. Anyways, I'm not gonna make this about myself. Right. I'm not gonna make this about myself. Right. Praise y'all. Right. I'm just trying to give you something. How you doing, Longfellow? How you doing, Jersey? I'm on, and thanks for being back on with us. Right. So I'm just trying to show you, right? Like, money ain't real. Matter of fact, to show you how money ain't real, have you ever thought about why gas prices go up and down? And I bet y'all got a bunch of reasons to tell me, but you don't know, because nobody ever showed you. Nobody ever told you. The system won't tell you. Bank reserve has the notes, treasury has the funds. Some of them. The treasury is hurting too. But yeah, that used to be as simple as we could put it. Like, I wish it could be that simple, because it'd still be jacked up, but it wouldn't be as jacked up as it is today. So I feel you on that. Hey, how you doing, Reginald? Thanks for being on. Right. But allow me to give you a little something extra. Have you ever, right? Once again, y'all be talking about gas prices. Have you ever thought about why? Has anybody ever told you specifically? Because even when you think you know about gas prices, I used to be this brother, right? You think you know about gas prices, but you still don't really know what's going on, right? I hope I'm gonna get these acronyms correct. I know I got one correct in my head. I hope I got the other one. Matter of fact, let me look it up real quick just to make sure, because I don't want to steer you wrong. Especially now we had somebody that came on here and said, you never steered me wrong. So now let me make sure let me make sure I don't give you the wrong information. Mm, okay, hold on. Give me a second, y'all. I want to make sure I give you the right one. I feel like it should be OMEC, but it might not be OMEC. Oh, okay, it's OPEC. Excuse me. Okay. All right. I'm ready. All right, here we go. I'm ready now. All right. So gas prices go up and down simply because people try to price people out. Yeah, OPEC. Yep. OPEC and BRICS. If you're not familiar with them, that's BRICS. Do some research on OPEC and BRICS, OPEC and BRICS, and you'll discover why gas prices go up and down. Right now, if you a quick synopsis, and I don't have all the stuff in my brain, right? So that's why I said you want to go down the rabbit hole. Go down the rabbit hole. How you doing, Sister Irena? Right, and how you doing, Patrice? Thanks for being part of the community. And how you doing? I'm sorry. Is it? Oh, Aram Yahawada 511. Thanks for being on. Right. So if you want to go down the rabbit hole, feel free to go down the rabbit hole. Right. If you want to go down the rabbit hole, feel free to go down the rabbit hole. Okay. Here's the deal. When all this stuff started with gas and crude oil and all this stuff that people are using and everything, this stuff started coming to being. People found this stuff basically in America, and then eventually they would find it in England, or or America and England, who basically were running the world still, outside, because you didn't have the Russian build up yet and all that stuff and everything. So America and England are still running roughshod. As much as y'all think that they're not together, they basically move like the Medes and the Persians. If it's American, then it's English. If it's English, it's American. If it's English and American, then it's Roman. If it's Roman, it's Greek. If it's Greek, it's Medo-Persian. If it's Medo-Persian, it's Kemetic. If it's Kemetic, it's Mesopotamian. If it's Mesopotamian, et cetera, et cetera. Right? You know what I'm saying? Oh, I skipped Babylon. Excuse me. Right? Babylon's in there too. That's why you have gold, silver metals. Gold, silver, bronze metals. The gold is Babylon. The silver is the Medes and the Persians. The bronze are the Greeks. The Greeks believed that being humble, they would humble themselves and take third place, since they considered themselves to be the third major world power, right? You're dealing with one thing, right? But anyways, when you're dealing with this gas and these romantic values, the Greco-Roman values that come with it, the oil started to be found by basically several U.S. companies. I deal with them first, right? You had 5 of them. 3 of them become, I believe, Chevron eventually. 2 of them became not Amoco. Amoco is actually British. 2 of them became something else. I can see the symbol, but I can't get it in my mind. I'm sorry. But anyways, one of them became Chevron. One of them became something else that y'all know. Then Britain had a bunch of stuff where they were getting, through all their powers and stuff like that, they were getting oil and stuff too. It might have been, I think Shell is British too. Maybe a Shell. I don't know. No, so British is BP and British might be BP and Shell. So maybe it is Amoco and whatever. I don't know. But basically, do your research, right? Do your research. Okay. You should never go off of just what any one person tells you. Maybe it's Exxon. Maybe Exxon. I feel like that's right. So, but anyways, you had 5 companies, 3 became one, 2 became another. They worked together in America. You had a bunch of British companies, right? A bunch of them became BP, a bunch of them became Shell, right? And that was basically what was around for a really long time. Sure, over time, other people might have came in and out, but basically, like in the early 1900s, especially, that's what we're pretty much dealing with at one point. What starts to happen? So they're controlling oil, no problem. They're controlling oil for decades, no problem. Except you start having individuals who decide they want to get in on the game, and so just like there was a gold rush, there's an oil rush. We're just not told about the oil rush. We're technically not even really taught about the gold rush, because the gold rush was pretty disgusting as well. But the oil rush is something where, people start going and trying to get oil and trying to get into all this stuff or whatever. And in order for them to be able to be players out there, they can't mess with the big, huge companies that are really technically 5 companies that have become 2 big companies, and they run everything. So what do you do? How you doing, Miss Pierce? What do you do if you can't hang with those companies? Question for you. What do you do if you can't hang with the big boys? What's the only way you can really hang with them? Something simple. Something simple. I want y'all to, we gonna use our mind in a way that they don't really be telling us how to use our mind. How you doing, Sister Helen? Not necessarily join them, at least not yet, because they don't want you to join them. They want you to capitulate. So in a sense, maybe they want you to join them, but not yet. How you doing, Joshua? If you're gonna sell what they're selling, right? If you're gonna sell what they're selling, you got to drop the prices. There you go, right? So you got to sell something that, even though it's not going to make you as much, you can at least sell your product and make something. And eventually, over time, once you start making something, then maybe you'll start raising your prices up over time. So these people that are coming against them they start lowering the price. So this is what happened. At one point, oil in the early 1900s was like 50 cent uh, a gallon. Y'all would say that's pretty expensive for that time. You would like, because there's some of your parents that can tell you about 25 cent a gallon. But stuff was getting to a point where it's 50 cent a gallon. Now you have to also remember, not everybody is a people, not everybody's a person, not everybody's making money, right? So you're used to a lot of people, well, depending on where you live, you're used to a lot of people having vehicles or at least access to a vehicle. That was not the case, right? Some people still in the early 1900s still had horses. That's why your cars have horsepower, because cars technically were created to take over for horses. You know why the people in the beginning, especially the black people too, they don't talk about, but the people in the beginning who started creating cars, technically they were creating cars because there was too much pollution on the streets, because horses, leave a lot of pollution, right? They leave a lot of poop. They leave a lot of poop pollution, if you will. They leave a lot of pollution. They leave a lot of number two all over the place, right? So to get out of that pollution, they decided to make the car, right? Not thinking about the fact that the car would eventually cause another type of pollution, right? Like that's what was there, right? Well, that's why I say study, to see if what I'm saying is correct, right? You literally got kicked off. I tried to let you back on, and you right, got be careful now, right? Because I'm not the one that's in control of it anyway. But praise y'all. But anyway, so here we are, where you got this thing where people are going ahead. That's why you have horsepower in your cars, because it was supposed to replace the horse. That's the way that happened, right? I won't get into the car plant and all that, but anyway, so you got oil. At one point, it was 50 cent a gallon. What brought it that right? It actually at one point went up to $1 a gallon. But then all of a sudden, you had all these people coming out with oil. It went up to $1 a gallon because they started actually like pumping less gas out of the earth, right? Less gasoline out of the earth, less of this oil, right? And so they raised the price. Then all of a sudden, here come all these people who are finding oil in places like Texas and other places in the States. You have the ability to look at, if you look on TikTok, same thing I said earlier. If you look on TikTok, if you look on our main page, look on the link tree, you can text or email us that information, and you can go ahead and tell me how wrong I am there. All right. But so what was I trying to get into? I'm sorry, because everything got to be about that. Oh, yeah. So anyway, so we were talking about oil, and when you get there, this is your fourth time saying hello. I'm sorry, Red Man. I'm on TikTok. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Facebook. I'm on a podcast, all simultaneously. I will do my best, but I'm a human being. I apologize if I'm not the most high and I can't catch everything. Now that you've been addressed, I hope that makes you feel better and makes you realize that I really do care for you. I honor your presence today, and I hope that makes me now worth listening to. All right. Thank you so much for being on. I appreciate you. I really do. All right. But I apologize. I'm not the most high. I can't do everything. Right. So, anyways, so now that so now that everybody's been addressed and everybody feels like they've been able to tell me off and all that stuff, so now that we're getting back into this, right? Right. So now you do all this stuff, and you have these people that are lowering the price. The price got down to the point to where it was not just 50 cent again. It was not just 25 cent. It got to the point where it was like 13 cents a gallon, because people were out here selling oil, just trying to make sure that anybody could make something to at least recoup what they had made. Right? Like, people out here finally at a place where they're like, I can finally recoup what I made, right? Bare minimum. So it got down to 13 cents a gallon. And if you see how that happened, now you'll just simply see that all this stuff that happens, fluctuating of gas prices, is usually somebody new trying to get in the game, or somebody trying to get priced out. If you don't believe me, what starts happening? Well, remember, the United States and England, they still have power over all these other countries, including places that now y'all try to call the Middle East. And it's called the Middle East because England at the time, being a world power, right? England says, if you're east of us, we'll call you east. If you're all the way on the other side of Asia, we'll call you far east. If you're in the middle, we'll call you Middle East. It had nothing to do with people, skin color, anything. It's just how they addressed the world. They didn't care. Okay, no problem. Little growth. Well, I apologize if now I'm the one that's off or whatever. But yeah, you can definitely reach out at any point. I like people with a warrior mentality and a strong mentality anyways. Praise y'all, right? But so And if I'm confusing you for somebody else, I could be doing that too. I get a lot, like I said, I'm on a lot of platforms. So forgive me if I'm just confusing with somebody else. Um, but I'm sorry, I gotta focus, y'all. I apologize. So basically, you have this situation going on. You have all this stuff happening. And stuff is going up. Yeah. So the people in what you call the Middle East, they basically are pumping gas and they're paying, basically most of the funds over to England or to America or to the FBI or the CIA. But they're paying most of that stuff to them, and they start saying, "Well, wait a minute. If we pumping the gas out anyways, see, this is when you got to get into mentality." They start saying, "If we pump the gas out anyways, right? How you doing, Minister Morel? If we pump, let me say it again. If we doing the work and it's ours anyways, then why would we make 20 cents off it when not only that, we can do what y'all did and pump less of it out, control the market, and we can bring this thing up to where it's $2 a gallon. What do we need you for?" This is OPEC, by the way, OPEC. And BRICS is basically about to do the same thing, but they're going to deal in currency only, BRICS. That's Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, because not all African nations, not all skin folk is kinfolk. Not all African nations are actually African. Remember that. Not all human beings are human, right? Remember that. Not all mankind is humanity, right? So money ain't real. And our concept of money ain't real because we're in a system that's not real, telling us things. This system is sus. You got a system that's fake. And they trying to tell you about this stuff. I'm trying to tell you, like, if you don't know that the United States is not even a country, right, then you're not going to comprehend that money ain't real. If you're not going to comprehend that these you think the gas prices are because of the Republican or the Democrat, because Trump got in office, because Obama was in office, because Biden was in office. No, Biden is out there right now begging OPEC, the OPEC, the people who have started learning how to pimp and stuff like that. So the OPEC, basically, long story short, are Middle Eastern countries and some other African countries who, once again, aren't really African. You call them Arabic, even though Arabic doesn't mean what you think it means either. But nowadays, what you would think of as Arabic or Muslim countries. So certain African nations and certain Middle Eastern nations have come together to form OPEC, OPEC. And so now, guess who Biden is begging to start doing things to what? To pump more gas so they can lower the prices. Biden is begging OPEC, OPEC. Here's the thing, though. See, y'all don't know how this works. Y'all think that all these countries are really against each other. In real life, this is business. This is corporative stuff. Corporations. Even if you kill a bunch of Americans, America still don't do business with Russia, and vice versa. Watch this, because at the end of the day, you also have to know that OPEC is in bed with Russia. Yeah, BRICS is trying to, in a certain sense, to emulate what it is, right? But it's not going to be like African based. And by the way, Africa already has something that emulates or is imitating what Gaddafi did, right? We just don't support it, right? But, we think that this system is real. So we don't realize it's rigged, pun intended, oil rigged in this case. The system is rigged, oil rigged. And you think that so prices are going up and down because they're pricing people in and out. America, matter of fact, came out with an oil. Y'all don't even know that. America came out with an oil that they were trying to put in cars. And guess what? OPEC came out and basically forced America to get rid of the oil that it had. Because they ain't playing that. America, as much as you think America's the world power that you think it is, America got to bow down on certain things. You said, have I seen video of why Europe is keeping sub-Saharan Africa poor? I mean, I don't know if I've seen a specific one, but I can probably think of many different reasons. You're right. How you doing, Clarence? So I'm just saying, we're in this thing where we think this stuff is real. We think America's a real place. We think Russia, like you think that Russia is the land, but Russia's the corporation. Russia's a corporation. Russia's a republic. China's a republic. India's a republic. Cuba's a republic. Or actually, Cuba's not a republic. Sorry. What's the other one that y'all don't like? and for some great reasons. I'm just saying, what's the one? North Korea is a republic. United States of America is a republic. You pledge allegiance to the flag. Flag means standard, by the way. So you pledge allegiance to the standard of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands. You're not in a democracy. You're not in a country. If you want to argue it's a democratic republic or a Republican oligarchy or whatever, but you're in a republic. You're in a republic. Republic is a kingdom. As much as they keep telling you the kings are tyrants. They say, why would you say what's up, king? They tell our people this all the time. You hear them on shows and stuff like that. On Joe Rogan, he doesn't like it when people say, well, why do you call yourself kings? Kings are tyrants. It's like, Joe Rogan, you're a king. What are you talking about? You were in capitalism. You have more capital than everybody in this republic. You were a king. What are you talking about? Now, what Joe Rogan, I'll give him, even though he's kind of, some people, I don't use this wording, but people will say he's like a meathead or something like that who got money. I've heard people describe it like that. His comedian friends kind of describe him like that. I say that Joe Rogan, even though his prism is Eurocentric, Joe Rogan is actually innocent at heart. You said you know you lost your language. Yes, I speak my language. If you know how I start in the beginning, I speak actually multiple languages. Now, I don't speak them necessarily fluently, but I know who I am. I don't have to have a DNA test to actually know where I come from. I know where I come from. I know my people. I know my tribes. Tribes, plural. And at the end of the day, at some point, we need to go back to it. So that's why we talk about things from a cultural perspective. So yeah, I got you, man. Just hang in there long enough, at least see where I'm from, or at least ask, like, hey, when you say Aquaba at the Sam, what is that? Where does that come from? When you say Asaya Arakitubaya, where does that come from in the world? When you say Bakwata, Barakala Cham Yahava, Shalom Yasna, Kwam Yasna, Shalom Allah Cham Yahava, Tada, Kofi, Mashalam Khe. When you're saying that, where does that come from? And what dialect are you speaking of it so that I can see specifically where in the world you come from? It's just odd that people like take time out to listen in to see if I actually have a cultural perspective that I'm talking about. And maybe you're not familiar with the cultural perspective. Maybe you're not. How you doing, Christopher? Right? So there are things that people try to steal from us for sure, right? And maybe they were a mystery, but they're not lost. See, anything that's a mystery, it wants to be revealed. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Or even hallelujah, right? If you know the dialects that I'm speaking of, right? So you got to be you got to realize what needs to be revealed. Now, do I know everything? Of course I don't, right? But it's not lost. It's a mystery. A mystery. When you read a mystery novel, the mystery novel is not designed to keep you lost. The mystery novel is designed to ultimately reveal. Now, I might reveal it to you in a manner that's really captivating and amazing and outstanding and stupefying, right? But it is designed to ensure that you can go ahead and get it, because at the end of the day, believing that something's lost is simply is a mystery is false. It's a false equivalency. Even believing that two people can be equal is false. So equivalency is a false period, because there's never been two people that have existed on the planet that have been exactly the same. I don't care if you're twins. You hear what I'm saying? So you guys get to a place, right? By the way, even what I wear, this is something that the Most High allowed me to be able to bear. Right, this was born out of a relationship with the Most High, out of study, out of years. So even the way that we're able to teach our community, our diaspora around the world, not just on the live sessions, things that we do, you know, off screen, or when we meet up with people in person, or when we go feed people, or when we have people that are bagging up stuff and feeding people in the community and stuff like that. Oh yeah, we're blessed to be in a situation. So just hang in there, listen just long enough. I'm not mad at it. Just hear me out. Respect the humanity that I may or may not have. you know. Well, we appreciate your presence, though. How you doing? How you doing, Sister Barbara? How you doing, Chris? I'm sorry, I think I said that to Chris Azara McCoy. Hopefully, I said that correctly. How you doing? Right. So, think about all that stuff we just said with OPEC. Then look up BRICS when you get a chance. BRICS. Right, and go back to even the African, you know, currency or group that's already trying to make sure they're spending money, and then look at Gaddafi. Right. By the way, all these people that tell you about, once again, these are not perfect people, but Gaddafi is somebody who had your best interest at heart, even if he was only your see, remember, he might not be your constituent or even your confidant. Gaddafi might even for some people be your comrade. In other words, he wasn't for you, and he wasn't even for what you were for. He was just simply against what you were against. So, but he was your comrade in arms. He was ready to fight. He went down, he died. You hear what I'm saying? Like, so everybody came against him and tells you all these things, but he died for the cause. Y'all don't even think about he died for you. Y'all just go, oh, he died. No, no, they got him. No, he died trying to make sure that what we talking about now could come into fruition. Somebody got to be willing to be the martyr. Somebody got to be willing to have their reputation torn to shreds, right? Y'all talk bad about Fidel Castro. Fidel Castro did more for Africa than any American, Russian, Chinese, any of them. Oh, y'all don't want to have a discussion, right? I'm not saying Castro was perfect. What I'm saying is he did more. We talking about money, right? We talking about money. See, money ain't real, but you know what? He sold some stuff that was real. There's Cuban blood on the soil, right? You can't talk about being Congo and not have respect for uh for Castro. You can't, because he was out there fighting. He had his special forces out there fighting for y'all, and they was out there dying. Because by the way, they're you too. They're part of the diaspora. I'm just saying, right? Like Castro was out there. You can't talk about Ghana without talking about Castro. You can't talk about South Africa, who's still trying to fight for independence. Don't be fooled. Just because in 1992 you think that Nelson Mandela became the president, which means that now there's no more problems anymore in apartheid ended because South Africa did really well in some soccer finals. Don't get it twisted. Don't get me to have a South African come on here, somebody who's from Zululand come on here and set y'all straight. That ain't that ain't how it's working, right? But still, right? And remember, even South Africa is part of BRICS, right? Who's trying to do the same thing that Gaddafi did, but not for Africa anymore, trying to do it with people who are because even when we hear these terms, we think, oh, Brazil. But see, the people in Brazil that have power, they're not what we would call Brazilian. And the people in South Africa who have power, we wouldn't even call them South African. And technically, when you talk about Russia, the people in Russia that have power technically ain't treating the people with Russia with respect. And the people with India who are doing this stuff really ain't treating the Indians with respect. And the people in China who are over China, they ain't really treating Chinese people with respect. For real, for real. So, so it's more of the same, right? But it's not real. Your problem with money, when oil fluctuates, as we just showed you with OPEC, when oil fluctuates, it's because people getting priced out. When oil fluctuates, people just getting priced out. He said the powers that be is still dividing the world amongst themselves. Yeah. When oil fluctuates, it means that they're having to fight. Somebody's trying to get into the oil game. And so or America's trying to have their own oil come out, or they got some new independent people that are trying to come in. And so they'll make sure quickly, like, hey, we can just price y'all out. We can make this thing so cheap that you can't hang with us. Hey, y'all keep messing with us, America. Y'all keep messing with us, England. Y'all keep messing with us, Russia. You keep messing with us, whatever nation that we think is a threat. Okay, for real, y'all think y'all gonna do this to us? No problem. We got you. What we gonna do? We'll go ahead because you can't mess with us. We control your oil. Everything that y'all do around the planet, it centers around what we have. So mess with us, okay, no problem. We'll just raise the price on everything. And y'all are like, please, please, Trump, do something. Please, please, Biden, do something. They can't do nothing. They're not in charge. They're puppets of the corporation of the United States anyways. Just like your money is not going to be able to do what you think it is either. You gotta use money to flip it into something else. People are always talking about get land to flip it for money, right? To get a house to flip it for money. No, get money to flip it for the house. Get money to flip it for the land. This is what people are doing. They're not doing what you and I are doing. They're not out here, right? Like I want as many When I go to Be More, I want as many houses in Be More as possible. Give me all the boarded up houses you can. You know why? Because there's a bunch of people coming over here now who don't look like us, and they trying to give it out for 300,000. So I might as well get some of it and maybe give a couple of them to some of them for 300,000 here or there for some stuff that was just boarded up 2 weeks ago. So it feels like, right? But also, when I'm dealing with this stuff, let me also be aware. Maybe let me let some of my people come over here, and instead of them having to get it for 300, maybe they can own it for 15,000. I mean, heck, I only got it for 5 because nobody cared about it anyways. If they want to build it up from scratch, they can get it for 15. If they want me to put the work into it, they can get it for 20, 30. And they can do a private loan with me. I can loan out the money and be able to say, like, hey, okay, pay me back what it is that I loan. In other words, if you're going to be in my house, right now, it's a loan that I can have. I'm setting myself up as a bank, so to speak. But really, technically, all I'm doing is saying, get in the house, get yourself together. I'll give you this many years to pay me back. That's honorable, isn't it? So we building each other up. You go ahead, instead of paying somebody 1,600, 2,000 to live in the ghetto, right? Why don't you go ahead and pay me 500 a month and get yourself together? And if I can get 40 homes and do that, right? And I can be the one to pick and choose who I want to be in there. Oh, yes, I can. I'm not saying I'm gonna do it in racist ways or redline or anything, but I get to be able to look out for my community and say, hey, I want a mother, I want a father that's out there, because I know, they did it. Somebody lied on this again. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. They got us again. The system is sus. Praise y'all. We can go ahead and go live on another one though. So we're gonna go live somewhere else. Hmm. Mm-hmm. All righty. We're gonna go live on another channel, y'all. Sorry. Let's see. Let's go on Kofi underscore 42. Somebody ain't like it. Matter of fact, should we go on Kofi underscore 41? Let's do Kofi underscore 41. Let's just go back there. Let's see what happens if we go there. Let's see what happens if we go live here. What were we talking about again? What do we do? What's the series called? Oh, the system is sus. They said we can't come back on live. Somebody didn't like what we were talking about. And then they get mad. I'm gonna just let the moderators have their way. See, this is the problem that we have. We're one of the problems that we have, anyways. To be honest. Let me see. Kofi. Uh-oh. I don't even remember. Somebody gonna have to remind me where we're at. Somebody got to remind me where we left off at. I don't even remember where we left off at. So we're back on the original. We'll see how far that goes. Somebody gonna be upset on there. But see, when you talk about truth, you got to be ready. Yeah, I know. I saw. I'm trying to get the original Kofi underscore 40 channel up, so we can use that. We'll use it as a chance to build up. And now I'm gonna have to go back to TikTok legal. Yeah, this is a everyday thing, right? But people are all the time thing. People get frustrated. Okay, so but it is what it is. But where were we at? Where were we at? So it is what it is. But where were we at? Uh, where were we at? I don't remember where we stopped. I don't remember where we stopped. And this is why we tell people follow us on multiple platforms, because you never know. You never know. I'm talking about housing. Oh yeah, yeah, they got mad at me. That's probably was the straw that broke the camel's back, right? So I'll say it again. So I'm not, and I literally said I'm not redlining, right? But somebody doesn't like it because what you're saying is that you have the right to have power, right? So if I go to Baltimore, I see boarded up homes. If I go to Southeast DC, I see boarded up homes. If I go to Miami, I see boarded up homes. If I go to Chi-Town, I see boarded up homes. Guess what? Like that's prime real estate. You said it was a lot more than you said what I was. I don't know. I'm sorry, brother. Brother, you saying it was a lot more than that. What which part? I'm sorry. I can't remember what I was talking about. Yeah, they really don't like it. But all and all we but see it's a thing of where am I at? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm a little off. I'm trying to get back on track. We don't have that much time left anyway. We got to get ready for the podcast. Okay, okay, okay. I get what you're saying, big bro. All right. So this is one of them things they hit us with a body blow. We got to get up, right? You got to keep on moving. But see, this is what I'm saying. It's like when you start getting to this level, when you start getting to this point, when we start really doing things the way that we want to, you gotta realize like this thing is coming, and they're coming for you for real. They're coming for you because of doing those things. And this is why, like you have, like I realize when I come on this is why I even have multiple platforms. You have to realize and recognize very quickly, and this is, and I'm gonna just say this, right? Because I think I know who already did it. I know the person who did it, right? I'm not gonna say that it's my fault for it happening because I allowed the person to stay on. The moderators had actually already dealt with the person. I allowed the person to stay on. So you get what you paid for, right? But this is why, because I'll hear from people, oh, I can't believe moderators, blah, blah, this and that, or whatever. And the moderators, this and that. I've got to trust y'all. And I tried to be like, okay, I'll play nice with them. And the moderators, they protect the community. And the one as always, now I got into a place where for about a year now, I trust y'all. And then there's always the one time I go, I'll be nice to somebody. So I'm just gonna let y'all do what y'all do. And I apologize. I'm sorry. So I apologize. That's my fault. That's on me. Right. Prayerfully, probably not, because the way TikTok does stuff, they correct it later on. you know so they'll correct it later on, but they'll still keep us off for a week. So we'll try to do is we'll try to use this as an opportunity to build up Kofi_40. I'll try my best to make sure that that's promoted out there so people can see online that they come to this original channel, and then we'll still use Kofi_42 for the weekend. So praise y'all, we can still use this to build up the platform, right? But this system is sus. And so getting back to what I was trying to talk about, money ain't real, right? As we get ready to wrap it up. So when you see all this stuff, money ain't real. You got to realize, therefore, if I'm in a bank and I only have to have 9% of what I tell you I'm going to give you, right? If I only have to give you 9%, if I only have to give you 9%, yeah, not all skin folk is kin folk, right? If I only have to give you if I only have to have technically 9%, and technically there's rules around that, but I only have to have 9% of what I give you, money ain't real. That means that banks don't have to print up money. First of all, banks can't print up money. The federal government has to tell America when they, or I'm sorry, the Federal Reserve, that is not part of the United States Corporation, and it's not part of the United States of America. The Federal Reserve tells the United States Corporation when they can print money, which means that the Federal Reserve tells banks when they can print money. But banks still are allowed to do loans even if they don't have money, which means that banks don't have to have money that's printed, right? That means that banks actually just have to say that they have a small percentage of what somebody's asking for, and they can go ahead and say that money exists, even if it doesn't. Now, if I have fake money that's being used to pay for something to another fake bank so that I can go ahead. So, for example, if you're going to buy a car, this is what happens. You walk into the car dealership, you like a car, you peep game, you say, okay, I want that one. They do a credit check illegally, by the way, because they use a social security number, which also means that technically you don't have to make a down payment if you know how that works. If you know how law works, pretty much in about 90 to 95% of the places that sell cars around the country, if they use your social security number, there's actually a law in place to make sure that you can go ahead and leave without putting a down payment. A lot of people don't know that. Nevertheless, right? If you run into that situation, but the way most people do it is they walk in the car place and they say, I want that car. And you go ahead and you want to go ahead and figure out what down payment you need and credit and all this stuff, whatever. Right when they work that out, there's a bank that's being represented that's going to basically give you the right to be able to walk out with the car. Right? There's a bank that's going to say, we give you the right to walk out with the car. That's how that's going to work. Right? There's going to be a bank that's going to say, we give you the right to walk out with the car. Okay. So the bank is saying, we're going to give you a loan, or we're going to loan you the car, but you got to pay us some money. We're going to loan you a car, but you got to pay us money. Okay. So we have the car registered with us. This is what's going on. We had the car registered with us. Right. And what we want, even though the car is registered with us, we want you to go ahead and take the car that's registered with us. And we want it to be you to take it and register it with the state. The only thing that anybody's paying attention to, by the way, is the car. And they're using you as a front, as a straw man. Right. So you will attach yourself to a fake version of yourself, so that a bank that has no money but has a car, they have control over the car. They have no money, but they have control over the car. They want you to give them some currency, right? You agree that you need the car, so you agree that maybe money is something that I need to be able to get this car that I feel I need. So you go to your bank or another bank. Sometimes you go to the same bank, but a lot of times you go to your bank or another bank and you'll get a loan from them. Now, when they give you a loan, do they ever give you any cash in your hand? Question. When they give you this loan, do they ever give you any cash in your hand? Right? No cash is going to be exchanged. But you got a loan for cash, didn't you? Didn't you just get a loan? Or did you agree to allow somebody to give you a straw man permission to go ahead and give somebody else permission to release the car to be registered to you, so then that now you can register it with the state, simultaneously giving the ownership of your car to the people who gave you the loan? I don't even know if everybody caught that, right? If I'm going to this place to get my car, they have ownership over the car. The money is supposed to be a negotiable instrument. I'm using the money to be able to take what I have to be able to say, let me go and get this car real quick. Right? I try to go and use the money to negotiate so that they'll give me the car so they can use the money. They're going to use the money to get real stuff like other cars or land or stuff that y'all don't think is worth anything, like cryptocurrency. That's what they're going to do. But I'm going to give them something, so they're going to flip what I have into something that's real. I'm trying to flip what they have into something that's real. I'm trying to flip something that they have into something that's fake. If I want to get this car for real, I got to go ask my bank for something for fake. I ask my bank for something that's fake. They say, okay, cool, no problem. You've worked enough. You got enough credit in our fake system to get this much fake money, right? And so we'll give you the money for it. Go ahead and buy it. Now that you bought it, you got to pay back the bank for something they never gave you, because they never gave you money. You never got cash. If that's your way of saying hello, how are you doing? Right? You can do better with that, right? But if that's your way of saying you made money, right? And from now on, I'm just gonna be blocking people. If they get muted or whatever, hey, I'm sorry. Not trying. Sorry, not sorry. Y'all can see why I got to go this route, right? I try to be nice and try to be open to everybody. Try to give everybody an opportunity, and people, y'all messing it up. So hey, people just gonna have to be mad at me today, right? But you have this wild. thought process in your mind, right? To where I want credit, but I'm getting credit for something that's false. Now, see, watch this. When we say that's what a line of credit is, yeah, but see, remember, what is credit supposed to be? If you have a credit with me personally, what is credit supposed to be? If I have a store credit, if I have a company credit, what does that mean? That means that, like, this is what your rings used to mean. They used to have symbols and signets on them, and you used to stamp. The king would stamp, and so with the king's family, right? But the king, he would stamp his ring, and then he would put it on the scroll to seal it, right? When he sealed the scroll with his insignia, with his symbol, with his stamp, it meant that whatever he had stamped could only be opened by somebody who was approved to be able to get it. But it meant that also whatever came out of that scroll, we knew that that king was great for the was we can go to him to get that money, right? Like that's what we were doing. That's what we were really doing out here. We knew, right? If you were part of the king's family and we saw you give that stamp, we said, okay, we can go ahead and give her whatever. We can give him whatever. Why? Because we know that that money can be gotten, right? Or the king himself had already paid money into establishments, or you yourself would already pay money into establishment. This is why the parable of the person in the Good Samaritan. This is why that parable, when he says, hey, he took him to a hotel, he had already had a credit. He already came through there often. And so he said, whatever he needs, go ahead and just take it out of my credit. He said, and whatever, when I come back, if he's gone over whatever it is I have in there, he said, just go ahead and bill me for it. That's what credit used to be when it was real, right? Credit used to be that, hey, like it wasn't just word is bond. Like credit used to be, you've paid already. Right now, credit has become, in a sense, word is bond. But look, credit is about debt now. How well do you do with debt? Do you pay debt off well? We'll give you a credit card. We start you up with $250, but really there's not 250, right? But people know our name, so people will come to us for what you have. But also, oh, by the way, we need to make business. So interest. If I'm gonna pay this, here's the interest level. Sometimes the interest levels are ridiculous, but whatever. Here's some interest. Let's see how you do. Oh, you pay debt off well? Okay, cool. Well, we'll give you a chance to go deeper into debt, right? Which is why if you get a credit card, which I don't say you shouldn't have. Matter of fact, I have one. I don't need a bunch. I have one, but I don't ever use my credit card unless I know that I could literally pay it off tomorrow. So if I go and spend $2,500 on the credit card, it's only because I know I have $2,500 in an account somewhere, or well, 2,500 plus whatever the interest is, to be able to pay it off immediately if I had to. Right? I don't use something that's on credit just randomly, right? Because I comprehend that what we think about credit today is debt. They're not worried about like are you trustworthy? Can you go into debt and can you pay it off? That's all credit is. Can you go into debt and can you pay it off? Can you go into debt? Can you pay it off? And that's what I was talking about earlier. Even the people who you think of, Donald Trump's and all that, y'all got mad at Donald Trump when he filed for bankruptcy. You got mad at Donald Trump when he basically didn't pay. He had like what $400 and something to pay on his taxes. That one out of that one tax return that y'all saw, everybody lost their mind. You're not even supposed to pay taxes. Don't be mad at Donald Trump because he finessed the system. He didn't finesse the system. He's using the system correct. You're not even supposed to pay those. You need to figure out why is it that you haven't been taught this, and how do you make sure that you start living what these people are living? Well, there's certain tax breaks that he has because he's rich. There's certain tax breaks that you get because you poor. Right? Where's your EIN? Where is your business? Even if your business ain't functioning, have everything come down as a charge for your business so that everything gets written off. There's no laws against that. Matter of fact, there's laws to promote that if you still want to pay taxes, because even paying taxes is something that is it's a choice that you have. Yeah, he was straight business. Now I'm not saying that Donald Trump is the person we should look at for all of our to be all of our moral compasses, or to be our moral compass, excuse me. I'm not saying that, but you're mad about the wrong reason. You mad about Donald Trump for this, whatever, but you don't recognize that, like, basically you're not supposed to do that. You need to realize that money's not real. You're dealing with the system with the wrong mentality. Right? Yeah. poor are taught backwards from the rich about money, right? Like, watch this. My son, look, I come from rats and roaches and homeless and all that, right? My son will never know what it is to pay rent. He kind of sort of remembers being in an apartment complex, but he doesn't really remember that. My son will not know what it is to be somewhere to where he can't go outside on grass and he can't grow his own food, right? That's I didn't learn those things simply because I'm black. I learned those things because I came from a family with a poor mentality. My father is going to leave this earth with great inheritance to be able to leave to his children, as he should. Never taught me about investing. You know why? Because people who thought, like, all these people, we'd be like, why didn't I? A lot of y'all have grown up with people who invest in your family and never taught you. And y'all be like, why didn't y'all teach us? And why didn't y'all teach us? Back then, which everybody just depended on the job. And hopefully somebody in the job opened their eyes to something and said, yo, use this, invest in this, and you'll get some money back. So they don't even know how to invest. They just know that something comes out their check. So some of them got that, but they didn't even teach you. So you had one generation that at least could deal with the curse, but they didn't break the curse. See, somebody got to tell us this. Money not real. Money ain't real. Yes, I'd be mad for all the wrong reasons. They did a lick of research. Yeah, money ain't real. Money ain't real. Like, when you realize money is something you spend. That's what money's for. Robert Kiyosaki's of the world, Donald Trump's of the world, the Warren Buffett's of the world, they spend money, right? Warren Buffett was asked, because a lot of people, he's the benchmark, right? One of the benchmarks. Warren Buffett was once asked. They asked him, they said, if somebody were to give you a choice between having money or having land or having business, which one would you choose? He said, I'll take land and business every time over money. Every time. Said, if I have land, then I automatically have money. If I have a business, then I have something that makes money. If I have money, there's no guarantee I can have business. If I have money, there's no guarantee that I'll get land. Now, that's supposed to be the standard. Maybe I want to believe him. That's supposed to be the standard. Talking to you. This is a person who owned Coca-Cola and literally had enough sense. All he did was, when he got Coca-Cola, some of y'all don't even know Warren Buffett owns Coca-Cola, but when Warren Buffett became over Coca-Cola, guess what Warren Buffett did? All Warren Buffett did when he got to Coca-Cola, all he did, you ready for this? Peep game, you ready for this? All Warren Buffett did when he got to Coca-Cola, he raised the price. He studied it, he looked at everything for a while, and then he raised the price of everything in Coca-Cola by 1 cent. Everything that he sold, he just added 1 cent to the price. How much money you think he made by adding 1 cent to the price of everything at Coca-Cola? Y'all do the research. Homework assignment for you. Don't just listen to me because whatever. Go, homework assignment for you. Go find out when Warren Buffett raised the price of everything at Coca-Cola by 1 penny. How much you think he made? See, money ain't real, right? He didn't cause inflation, and he didn't go super inflation. He didn't go 10 cents a can. He didn't say, I'm gonna start selling it for twice as much. He said, I'm gonna just put a penny on it. He said they already willing to pay some. Yeah, they already willing because somebody put the Coca-Cola in the refrigerator, a Coca-Cola can that's small in the refrigerator at the stove. They'll already buy it for $1.25 because it's cold. What if I make it $1.26? Right? What if I know? What if it's guaranteed that every day 100 million products of Coca-Cola, which are more than just drinks, by the way, right? But 100 million easy are going to be sold in one day. He said, if I know that's going to happen in one day, if I raise everything by 1 penny, then I made at least 100 million. Or I'm sorry, 100 million, a penny, a hundredth of 100 million. What's a hundredth of 100 million? No, not a hundredth. Let me get it right. 1% of 100 million. Excuse me. I'm saying it wrong. I'm seeing it on paper different than what I'm saying. All right. Well, if I make 1% of 100 million, well, how much money did I make? I just made $1 million easy in a day. Well, I mean, I'm not saying Warren Buffett's perfect. What I'm trying to say is that these people know that money's not real, right? And some of the people are willing to lose money to keep power. See, some other people, they recognize that. How you doing, Brother Ali? See, some people are willing to lose money to gain power. You hear what I'm saying? Like some people are willing to lose money. There are people who will buy out your whole neighborhood that you think is crap, and you keep trying to leave, and you won't improve on, right? You won't grow anything in. You keep waiting for somebody else. You keep talking about food deserts, and you don't create your own food oasis and stuff like that, right? There's somebody else that will buy your town and will watch it go to hell, and we'll literally see it get boarded up. We'll see people leave out there. We'll see that it's dirty, disgusting, decrepit. We'll see that little store after store after store, it literally goes away. And then once it goes away, then they start building it up for cheap because they watch the property go down. They'll wait decades. They'll wait 10, 20, 30 years. And then once everybody's gone, then they build it back up. Right? Oh, you're fine, Sister Monica. I don't know if I missed something you said. Sorry. Oh, no. Yeah, you were fine. You were fine. I was just agreeing with you. I get it that Warren Buffett's not a perfect person. He's not a moral compass. I was just saying, I'm not in disagreement with you. In other words, I was adding to it. So thank you for adding that, right? So I'm just saying, like there are people who are doing this, right? Where they will not spend money to keep control. They'll lose money to keep control. See, money is a negotiable instrument. You're negotiating. You use money to negotiate. Yeah, they doing it in the D. They doing it in Alabama, and people are mentioning certain place. They're doing it in many different places. Money is used to negotiate, right? You should be using money to negotiate what you want. If somebody wants to build a neighborhood and they ain't gonna build it for more than $1 million, then I don't care if somebody wants me to build it for 100 million, 200 million, $1 billion. Like I'm not gonna do it for any more than 1 million. It's negotiable. You hear what I'm saying? It's negotiable. It's negotiable. It's a negotiable instrument. Anyways, thank y'all for being on. Appreciate you. I don't know when we'll be back on Kofi_43. If it's up to them, we probably won't be able to be back on until I guess it'd be like May 13th, probably. So Mother's Day probably be when they let us back on Kofi_43. But if you got connections with people or whatever, just let them know. I'll try to put some stuff out there to let people know that we'll be on Kofi_40 for the risings and Kofi_42 still for the evenings. But thank you all for being on. Appreciate you so very much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, family. Thank you, Patreon Kingdom. Thank you, SOC, for coming over. Hopefully, we see you on the podcast in a little bit. We'll still do our shout out. By the way, so most of the stuff I'm on Kofi_40, Kofi_42, Kofi_43. We even have a Kofi_44. So if you're trying to find us, you can find us in many different places. You can find us on YouTube, of course. Hashtag Find Kofi. You can find us on YouTube. Sorry, hashtag Find Kofi on Facebook. Hashtag Find Kofi. You can find us on the podcast, the Kofi 40 podcast. And today on the podcast, we'll be live in a little bit, and we're going to have ministers Sharon and Joseph come together as a husband-wife team to be able to give us a word. So we're excited and we're thankful and we're grateful to those who will come on and support that. We have many different things that you guys can participate in. We'll still do our shout out today. It is the Rising. So if you want to go ahead and hang in there and be part of the shout out, you can. If you've never done the shout out with us before, the shout out is pretty simple. It's going to be on TikTok only. If you're on YouTube or Facebook, you want to come over to Kofi_Ofori. So KOFI_OFORI. Just without the number 2 or the number 3 behind it. If you want to come and be part of the shout out, you can. But basically, if you stick around, if you've never done one with us before, you'll see how that works. And we thank you guys for helping us to build up a little bit on the platform. We'll be doing some building for a little bit. But thank you guys. We appreciate you guys. We honor you guys. And we look forward to talking to you again very, very soon. So please check out my wife, as always, the Honorable Maya, on TikTok, YouTube, or website, and Pinterest at Bloom and Flourish. Not A&D, the letter N, Bloom and Flourish. She is a healer, herbalist, chemist, and biologist by degree. The way this is going to work. And so if you check out or you stick around for for the shout out, you'll be able to get more information on things that we do offline as well. But the way today is going to work. So we're going to finish up the live session here. We're going to do a quick shout out. Then at 10 a.m. we'll be on the Kofi Ofori podcast. Minister Sharon and Minister Joseph will give us a word. After that, at 11 a.m. we're going to have our first Shabbat school for just the children. So if you're doing homeschooling, that's gonna be something to help them out specifically. We're gonna maybe start adding some stuff in slowly but surely, and doing some stuff maybe for people of different ages and different things during the day. And who knows, maybe even let our ministerial staff kind of kick in on some of the stuff for Bible study or for things like that that could be used on a Saturday or something like that. Who knows? But today, if you want to go ahead and have your children on with us, or if you want to just be on to maybe ask some questions or do some things, the Honorable Maya should be on today to be able to be on at 11 a.m. on a Zoom link. That's going to be a specific Zoom link. I'm going to try and make sure that it's put out there on Google Calendar invite. If you don't get it, feel free to contact us and let us know that if you'd like to be on. Make sure that you can be on and be a participant of it. And then and so that'll be at 11. And then from there, the main thing that we'll be doing after that is if you have class with us, Black's Law Dictionary 1 class with us, that'll be at 9 p.m. Eastern New York time. I believe we're going into common law a little deeper finally. So if you'd like to be able to join us for that, we appreciate you. And come on in for that. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. We honor you. Thanks for coming on over. As you can see, Mr. Miss Sus, when you start talking about it, everybody got something to say, and sometimes they pull the plug on you. Okay, we're going to keep on moving. So thank you. We appreciate you. We honor the king and queen in each and every one of you. Even if you're not living inside that kingdom or queendom yet, we appreciate the potential king and queen in each and every one of you. As always, please check out my wife, the Honorable Maya, on TikTok, YouTube, or website, and Pinterest at Bloom and Flourish. Not A&D, the letter N, Bloom and Flourish. She is a healer, herbalist, chemist, and biologist by degree. I believe the tincture this month is ageless, right? Which is not right. And by the way, she doesn't give things to heal. We believe that the body is fearfully and wonderfully made, and if given the right tools, it will heal itself. Amen. So, but the tincture of the month is ageless. There are many different tinctures. So if you want more information on that, you can reach out to her and reach out to myself at some other point as well. So we thank you guys. We appreciate you for being on. Thank you so much. As always, this has been Pastor Kofi, Pastor Servant to Christ, where we are always changing lives one mind at a time, but being a voice of the voiceless and speaking the unspoken. And until I have the great privilege, opportunity, and responsibility of being in front of you all again, please remember, as always, Yashua, that you are loved, you are necessary, you are majestic, you're fearfully and wonderfully made, and you, which is all of us working together, will be the reason why people who are in this system no longer have to be of it. Shabbat Shalom, family. We'll talk to you soon. Or if you're going off the Israelite calendar, like Shan Shalom, and we'll talk to you soon. All right. Peace. Oh, and for those that are still on TikTok, sorry, if you've never done a shout out with this, if you want to go ahead and put where you're from in the chat or where you reside, right? If you want to put your province, your city, your state, etc., feel free to put that in there in the chat.